basically this surface, right? And this is the line through which I cut. So you draw this line and you put arrows like that because I moved this part of it like that. Okay, so that's an additional thing that's there. And I think I've just okay. I also when you've got walls and windows, right, and doors as well. What I did here was, it's not necessary actually, but I named them window 1, window 2, and this was door 1, door 2. That's another additional thing there. It's really not difficult. I mean, you've got to start. When you start, you'll know. And you've got help, so don't worry.
Students, are there any questions regarding this? Question?
Okay, by the way, materials for material for the house shouldn't be like, I was talking about certain products like balls or things that go up in the air maybe. Because, okay, for the material that you build the house with, right, it has to be strong. That's what you need to look at. Because when you have these disasters and things, right, there's something called the tensile strength of a material. Okay? There are these certain specific strengths, kinds of strengths you look at. So you need to find the strongest one of them. But of course, strength is just not the only criteria. You've got cost again, you've got sustainability again. So what you do in a case like that is, okay, so I've got concrete and I've got clay, let's say. Okay, just two options. And my criteria is, what was it? Strength, right? Strength. And it has to be high strength and low cost, right? So what you do is, this is called a comparison table. Okay, so you look at the strength of concrete, you look at the strength of clay. Concrete is stronger, right? So you give it a 8 out of 10. Cost, concrete costs more than clay, right? Okay, so you give it, let's say a 5 or a 3. And then the clay has a high cost, maybe, okay, it's a comparative table, right? So you're not exactly accurate by that. And this is, because this is only just 2, I might not get it accurately, but you'll have more options and everything. Okay, so I'll give this a 9, let's say. The strength, it's pretty low, so maybe a 4. You add them up, you get, so concrete would be your choice then. Did I do the math right? Yeah. Okay. So concrete would be the choice. So that is one of the ways of choosing your material. And this is only for material. So for every other, like when you come into the power source, you need to look at renewable ways, right? I think you need to have a solar power source. Solar, you can look at photovoltaic panels. There's a company called First Solar in Dubai, and they have these thin frames. And I told you the renewable energy, specifically the photovoltaic electricity energy, has decreased by a tremendous amount during the past few years. So it is now a low cost and renewable or sustainable source of energy. So that's one of the things that you can do. There's another thing I saw. I don't know I think it was called solar bottles. Have you seen it? It's I don't know the right process though, but I just saw, I had a glance at it. There are these bottles that you hang on the roof, and there's a mixture inside, a chemical mixture, bleach and something else, bleach and soda or something. And then this thing can harness solar energy. So you can look at this, you will be surprised what innovative ways there are out there. So look at these options like that. Photovoltaic might probably be more costly than the solar bottles, because solar bottles, the bottle itself is plastic, so you're reusing plastic. So that's another plus point on sustainability. Yeah. No, because this is a small house. house, right? For a small house, you don't need many solar panels, but you can look at there are different types of solar panels, right? There's the ones with high efficiency that are more costly, and for this specific use, because it's a small house, you can have an estimate of an estimate energy intake, okay? The amount of energy, the amount of power it will take in. And according to that, you can choose a low-cost photovoltaic panel. But probably, I mean, yes, photovoltaic is like the obvious renewable energy source, but you can go for more creative ideas. If you want to know what's the maximum cost of building a tiny house, it depends honestly. I can't give you an exact answer because it depends